Hi, I'm your host, Diana Zhang, Senior Partnerships Manager at Orita.ai. Today on the Orita Podcast, I'm joined by Megan Langston of GoFish Digital and Karen Carrasco of Mandate BDG, two seasoned retention strategists who have helped D2C brands scale email performance and prep for Black Friday, Cyber Monday without panic. Megan leads retention strategy across a portfolio of brands at GoFish and Agile with a sharp focus on flows, deliverability, and AI-powered segmentation. Karen runs growth and retention at Mandate, helping brands build campaigns that convert and creative that clicks. We get into the behind the scenes work that drives Black Friday wins long before the discount hit inboxes, from cleaning up your list with AI to tightening flows, reviving deliverability, and syncing your retention playbook across teams. Plus, why brand voice still matters, and what to do now, even in July, to protect your November revenue. If your Black Friday, Cyber Monday plan is all promo, no prep, this episode is yours as a retention wake up call. Let's get into it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. To kick things off, for those tuning in who don't know me, my name is Diana. I am the Senior Agency Partner Manager here at Orita. I'm based out of Vancouver, and although my title is many different words, it basically means I get to spend my day to day working with our amazing agency partners who I have joining me today, which are Megan from GoFish, also part of the Agile group, as well as Karen, part of Mandate, part of the Benjamin David group. I'll let them do a longer, more complete intro. Megan, if you want to get started.
Sure. So I'm the director of email marketing at GoFish Digital. We're a full service digital marketing agency, and I work on a small but mighty team of 6 email marketers. We have about 40 clients across e-commerce and B2B space. But yeah, happy to be here and just join this conversation.
Awesome. And Karen?
Awesome. I'm Karen. I'm talking from Montreal, Canada. I'm the CEO of Mandate, which is a new rebrand for our email marketing business. You might see on my LinkedIn profile that I'm coming from Benjamin David Group, which is our digital marketing agency that has been in business for about 10 years now. And I'm super excited to chat with you guys today.
Amazing. Selfishly, before we dive in, I have to say I'm really happy to be part of a all-female panel today. And of course, before we went live, I asked both Karen and Megan, did you read the brief? Did you look at the thing? And of course, both of you already have. So this is really exciting for me because I love that type A energy. What we want to cover today in this session, of course, our questions, Q&As are live. So if you're watching this live, feel free to ask questions. But high level, I'd love to know more about Megan and Karen's background and why we fell into email marketing. We're also going to talk a little bit about the state of email marketing and what it's like being part of that bigger, broader direct-to-consumer marketing program today. And lastly, if time allows, we'd love to cover, of course, that cloud of Black Friday, Cyber Monday prep. So yeah, Megan, let's start with you. Tell me a little bit more about what brought you to GoFish, Agile, in the world of like email marketing and Klaviyo.
Yeah. So at GoFish, I've been working kind of across a few verticals in the digital marketing space, and then ended up really honing in on email recently. I really love email marketing because it's a good combination of strategy and creativity. And so I think it's fast paced, you can test and iterate on your campaigns pretty quickly and see results. So that's why I love it. Prior to GoFish, I used to actually run my own consulting based kind of company, and there is, I feel like, where I learned the value of having owned media, because at the time I was really pushing my services through paid channels and channels that I had no control over. So as soon as they weren't working in my favor, my business was going downhill. So I have sort of that background understanding from our clients' perspective of what do we do when we need to reach our customers and have some control over the content that they're seeing and how accessible it is. And I know we're going to be talking about that in our conversation today, because we're going to probably touch on deliverability and how do we reach people's inboxes and how do we guarantee that if they've given us consent to email them, that we're going to continue to be able to keep a conversation going on with them. It's relational. And yeah, I just thought I'd share that because I was thinking a lot about it recently from the consumer standpoint, which is I've shown interest in this product or service, but at this point, the algorithm's not working in my favor, or it costs way too much to be seen in front of our consumers. So Yeah, that's why I love email. You own that space, you have control over it. We can do a lot with it. And I think it's a really big missed opportunity, especially in the e-commerce space when we're focused so much on new customer acquisition and first time sales that we forget that we really need to nurture those relationships we have so we can have lifelong customers for build that kind of pipeline for our clients.
I'm hearing the themes of like ownership and control, and I'm already like, Karen, how about yourself?
Yeah, before I jump into my intro, I love what you said, Megan. I always say that I don't think marketers in general understand the value of owning like your database. It's literally it's like cash. It's something that there's value. It's something that you have until they decide to unsubscribe. While other channels, you're renting that community. You have a follower, you're using it for a period of time. And if the rules change and things
Yes.
happen, and not so long ago, we lost TikTok for 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows if it was going to be harder, like longer, but then your email marketing or your phone database, it's yours forever. So I think we're in a moment for email marketer geeks that it's kind of like, okay, people is getting it. Like they're starting to pay a little bit more attention. So anyway, on me, on my background, I have been an email marketer my whole life, work on loyalty a lot and different industries running email marketing departments. The thing that made the shift for us to start the agency was on an experience that I had here in Montreal in a company called Luxury Retreats. That it was a villa rental company. Imagine like $50,000 per night type of properties, and we were running a very tight email program because the way that you market to this segment, you don't really can do social. Pay media is different. You're not necessarily targeting the individual, but maybe the assistant of a CEO to book a vacation rental for their family. So you have to be very creative with the marketing. And that program was so well run. And we were invited to conference to talk about marketing automation. This is like 10 years ago when lifecycle marketing was still not that developed. That we decided to start an agency with email marketing and CRM services. We expanded to other digital marketing channels, and that company got acquired by Airbnb. So that's why you see as Airbnb locks right now. So that was a great success story that opened a lot of doors for us here in Montreal, being the team that kind of like ran the marketing department of this company. That was a beautiful success for the startup community in Montreal. So we have been doing this for 10 years now, working with different size companies. Same as what you were saying, Megan, what I really like about email marketing is that the marketer that is wearing that cap of email, you really need to have that kind of like scientist and creative at the same time. You maybe throw a little bit of HTML code or SQL, depending on the ESP that you're using, but you're also giving creative directions to your graphic designer to say, hey, let's make this image, I don't know, more appealing, or a GIF animation, or so you really have that duality, and it's very unique, I find, within the marketer's profile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When we get a chance to host Orita's first like offsite, I know the exact person I'm going to find our accommodation, and of course both of you will
Yes.
be. Yeah, we're
Yes.
going
Yes.
to Lux. Yeah. You both kind of touched on this, but we've talked a lot about like retention marketing channels as being owned channels. So I'm curious, the start of the year, bit of a rocky start for brands, tariffs then started to come in. Where, if at all, did you see a shift in like the C-suite personas at a brand and, the director of e-commerce when they started looking at marketing programs as a whole? Megan or Karen, you can go. One of you can go first. I'm just really curious there.
Yeah, I can go. I think in the past few years, there's been a lot of volatility in paid channels on paid media. And I think that played in favor for retention department programs, like the marketers that were in charge of retention and loyalty and lifecycle marketing. I think they got finally the argument to go to their director of marketings or to their CMOs to say, hey, cost per acquisition is going super high. The rules are changing all the time. Algorithms are changing. Why don't we invest a little bit more into our retention channels, and email marketing, SMS are the premium channels for that. So I think that volatility in paid media has definitely affected. And the other thing is that probably, and I see it with our clients, you're starting to be able to connect better the dots with the way technology has advanced. Like ESPs right now are very much advanced in the way that they can report revenues back to your channel, attribution, all KPI. So I think it's easier now for the marketer to say, hey, email marketing is a very ROI effective channel. If we want to talk with our clients and with our customers one to one, this channel seems to be working very good. Why don't we put a little bit more effort there? So I think it has been kind of like a little bit of the perfect storm right now for email marketers to focus on retention.
Yeah, I guess I would just say like what I'm seeing is just a highlight, like a heightened perspective on the reality of the situation. So if things were already going well, with the retention channels for a certain client, they're continuing to go well, and there's a spotlight on those and how to just optimize and adapt. And if they were lagging behind, now there's a spotlight on that, and real change needs to happen for those brands to turn it around during kind of this pressure situation, because there's more of a spotlight, like you said, from C-suite kind of executives looking at where dollars are going and if email is going to be a channel there. And so I think the burden on us is to continue to do the strategies that we know are working well, but to be more adaptive to meet our clients' goals, and then also to lead in strategy and letting them know this is the time that you need to be kind of investing more in these areas, or hey, let's see if we can lift on the paid side in order to reinforce kind of the back end like retention loyalty work that we're doing here. And so a lot more cross-functional collaboration we're having at our agency to meet those needs, and then the transparency between us and the client and having some of those tough conversations, I'd say.
Yeah, and then actually staying on that note too, with the way, Go Fish works and then having those different service arms, and I know Karen might have a different perspective here. Like, what is that strategy working relationship like when it's across different channels that you don't necessarily manage day to day? Like, how are you working with the paid performance team to make sure that we're aligned? And this goes beyond just now with tariffs, but in general, like, how do you always stay aligned?
Yeah, I think it's about effective goal setting at the start of the project. And then again, with the adaptability, that seeing like this is what originally we set out to do as a team. And then we're pulling different levers to see what's working. And each team is doing maybe A/B testing. We're constantly using data to drive our decision making. So we're making the right moves on the client's behalf. And then again, leading in the strategy, because they might help us inform big picture what the goals are, but they're not necessarily always sure which areas to invest in next or in what ways we should be collaborating. So the burden is on us internally to sort of make those decisions. And some of it is testing, because what works for one brand is not going to work for every single one, because we have different customer base, their journeys look a little different. We're seeing different kind of response rate on some of the channels that we do on others. There's more competition in some industries than others. So I think being willing to frequently communicate across teams, and then I guess I've said adaptability like 5 times since we've been talking, but like being willing to adapt our strategy to fit the needs of.
Before I pass it
Yeah.
to Karen, Megan, do you have like maybe one or two things having like those different hats from before being on the paid side, like a weekly call or like this activity would do those different cross-functional teams wonders if you implemented it to stay aligned?
Are you talking about like practically how does our agency perform that kind of cross-functional collaboration? I think one, it starts at the hiring process, selecting strategists who have a baseline understanding of marketing across the board with a specialty in a certain area. So they can deliver really high quality results in their subject matter expertise, but they have a baseline understanding across the board. So they know how these different sort of verticals are going to take the work that they're doing. So I'd say it starts off with having a really awesome team. And at Go Fish, we have an amazing team. So I'm happy to say that makes it really easy. People are speaking the same language I'm speaking, even if they're not working on the email marketing side. I think Karen mentioned like that relationship between the designers and the strategists. And at Go Fish, all of our strategists are also graphic designers. They're doing the emails from start to finish. So we really have our hands on everything that we're doing. And then, yeah, I guess like practically the frequency of meeting together. And I know we're living in a really digital space, but we've sort of just become used to constantly being in communication with each other and knowing our clients really well and how they might how their brand might adapt to our different strategies so that we feel comfortable moving forward with the stuff that we're doing without having to go through a lot of formal processes where we can move quickly.
Yeah. So to add to what you're saying, Megan, I think collaboration like interdepartment is critical. And I think it takes a strong leadership, like a strong CMO, director of marketing, to bring everyone together, not only internal teams, but the agencies as well. Like, hey, how we all work together. One of the great collaboration that I have seen with the combination of retention and pay media, and I experienced it. Sometimes companies are stressed or scared about paying high cost of cost per acquisition, and of course that's money that you're spending like right away on bringing a client. But if you have all the departments talking together and you know that your email marketing will be able to convert that lead or to make that customer repeat business, so maybe you're paying a high cost per acquisition at the beginning for the first purchase, but you have a very strong nurturing series or RFM segmentation to make the purchase 2, 3, 4 times, then you're like, it doesn't matter because I know that out of this customer, I can make them buy 2, 3 times in a 6 months program because my email marketing and my life cycle strategies are super tight. So that's also something that is super like key for companies to make sure that they can track that. And the other thing that you were saying in terms of collaboration within the teams, I think something that is super important is to kind of like make sure that everyone is talking the same language in terms of what promotions are going to be like, because you cannot have something alone on the email marketing channel and then social speaking something different, and then the website not having displaying the promotion. And I think this is where the leadership or a strong project manager or
Yeah.
whoever keeps the pieces together, it's super important to have it tied up.
Yeah, and Karen, I'm curious, maybe with the work you do at Mandate and
Mhm.
emphasizing for our brand clients, how do we make it the most frictionless and seamless experience for the brand if, let's say, they're working with multiple different agency and service providers, then you layer in tech, et cetera, et cetera. Like, how does Mandate and your team, from your experience, work with everyone else, like Megan said, and stay very fully aligned?
Yeah, that's a great point, Diana. And I don't know how you feel, Megan, because you have worked with other channels, but I think email marketing is one of those channels that is not 100% used to have agencies. A media, you will always have an agency. You can have a very strong team internally, but I think the world is used to have a pay media agency that you go for your Google ads, for social. Email marketing, it can be a very strong internal team, or you can also have an agency. So it's definitely something that I find is still growing in the different e-commerce and D2C brands. I have had great experiences working within internal teams and different agencies on different channels. What I think is the key is to have the owner of the management of all these channels working together. And sometimes, depending on the size of the company, it's not necessarily the director of e-commerce that is handling that communication. Maybe it's a strong project manager that is making sure that every agency is briefed the same with the same promotion. They know the dates, the legal notes of everything that is happening across different channels. I think it's more challenging for smaller brands to keep things organized and communicated. For bigger brands, they all usually have this strong project manager that kind of like bring the pieces together. But when there's no this director or orchestrator of bringing everyone in the same page, that's where friction can happen, or that's where you see one channel running something while the other channel, or you're not actually fully leveraging a moment, a seasonality, a promotion, because we didn't know that you guys are offering free shipping. Really? We will have put it like front and center in our email. Oh, yes, it was on the brief for the pay media team, but it didn't reach you guys. So that's super critical. I don't know, Megan, like how is with you?
Yeah, no, I don't think I have anything else to add to that. I think what we're talking about here is like looking at the big picture, or saying like having someone responsible for that, but everyone on the team understanding that the work they're doing is just one piece of the puzzle. And so it's kind of like with emails, you could have a beautifully designed email, well written and perfectly segmented, but if it's not a part of a larger strategy to nurture a relationship with our subscribers, that single email isn't going to produce the results that you are thinking that it will. It's just one of many touch points that we have with these customers. And so similar to that way, like as an agency, our job is to come together and put all the pieces together to meet that big picture that we're trying to do.
I think what I'm hearing is like really on the brand side, having it or limiting it to one main person. So they are very much like the orchestrator that is working
Mm-hmm.
among, whether that's different agencies or just in-house team plus agencies to make sure that everyone is always on the same page. And maybe extending that to, would you both agree, like a shared Notion, a shared PM tool of sorts, where everyone can see what other external or
Yeah.
in-house partners are working on, and that way there's like an async resource to refer back to
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely.
Absolutely. Even like I remember on a specific project where our database was quite big, and whenever we will send an email, it will impact organic and of course paid traffic to their benefit. So I remember my colleague on the paid media, she will be like, Karen, where are you planning a next like big send? And she was excited because her metrics were going to be super positive thanks to our send. So it was like a full collaboration, almost like, when are you planning your next one? Well, we have whenever on Monday, we're going to send it to 1 million people. Okay, great. So I'm going to adjust my bidding to make sure that I can capture more traffic or whatever. And when that happens, it's great because she's going to have like all the channels are going to have the positive results that you're looking from a holistic marketing perspective on siloed channels, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Those moments are so great because those shared wins are just another proof in the pudding point where it's like taking a step back and going, okay, what does the brand need versus like, I want to send this email. I don't care what the other
Exactly.
teams are doing. Yeah, it's like, what does the brand need? Can we align on that? And then shared win across the board. Switching gears, I'm really curious. Both of you have worked across different brands, whether that's like verticals or size of company. What are like two things you would say you see across the board during the audit process that would be like a quick win specific to email marketing?
And from a like program perspective, like from a
Yeah, from an overall, like you see these audits all day, every day. I'm sure you get pulled
Mhm.
in cities. And what are like the two main things that people aren't aware of that they could take advantage of or look into, let's say after the session to be like, hey, are these things in place?
Yeah, you will be surprised, and I have worked with large brands, and you'll be surprised how sometimes you might think that the bigger the brand, the more advanced their program is, and that's not necessarily that way. Because bigger teams, there's a little bit more bureaucracy to just to move a big enterprise into launching certain programs. So it's been a lot lately when we jump into a client, and one of the first things that we do is just to see what is their customer journey, and we map it out in a visual way. So if I make a purchase, we actually, I mean, if you can buy something, we actually make a purchase and see, okay, how is my transactional, how are my transactional emails? Am I getting any other emails? And I can tell you, probably 8 out of 10 times we will communicate back to the client, hey, you guys have this email being sent, and it's like in a Times New Roman font, black and white, and they're like, oh my gosh, that's active. Oh, that's supposed to be like down 10 years
Yeah.
ago. And you're like, wow, really? It happens so often that only when you do that mapping with real emails, not only looking into the ESP was supposed to be active, no, actually go through it. There's always like, oh my gosh, you can see you're sending this email from info at marketing at brand.com, Karen at brand.com, and you have like 7 different senders, customer service, and the client is like, oh, we didn't know. It's all over the place. So that's one of the things that I would recommend to do. And you don't need to go with an agency to do an audit, but every once in a while, teams change, people change job. Go and do like a full audit of everything that you guys are sending to your clients, and you're gonna uncover things that you were like, oh my gosh, we didn't know that this was running, this shouldn't be running, or this is so outdated, and so.
Yeah, it's like sometimes people will say with campaigns are called batch and blast and automations are set and forget. And it's like, no, never. You never should be
Yeah.
forgetting anything. You never
Yeah.
want to set something and then forget it. We have to be dynamic in our approach and constantly optimizing it. Again, based on the data that we're seeing is performing well on other channels or in our platform, what's doing well. So I'd say the foundation of a health email program is those automations set up in a strategic way that are free of error and designed well and are being optimized on a regular basis. Every few months, we're looking at them and A/B testing and doing that sort of thing.
Yeah. Hearing is like a lot of self-auditing is also important
Yeah.
because there
Yeah.
are so many people who have their hands and have that access within Klaviyo as an
Yeah.
example. And it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that was set. I would have never known because I said it and forget it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And even like you sometimes change your brand or certain elements of your tone. And while you do all those changes, maybe there's this email that got forgotten in time that you never took a look at and you needed to revisit.
Totally. Yeah. And then, while thinking about having these basics in place, because those are always forgotten about, what are some of the trends or new creative things you both have individually been working on that is very top of mind? Whether that is, I did a recent split test, A/B test, and like this creative I never thought would have performed it really well. Anything that's really exciting that you see you want to try again and again?
Definitely utilizing AI in our strategy. So like Orita, we're working with you all on a couple of our with a couple of our clients. So like AI segmenting, AI within the ESP, what they can offer as far as dynamic product blocks and that sort of thing, like collecting more data, more sophisticated data and making decisions on the strategy based on that data rather than just relying on, I guess, human experts. Or we're just like limited in how much we can collect and analyze at any given time. And so that's been something that's been exciting to being part of Go Fish because we are really AI adaptive. Like that's something we've been focused on in our other verticals. But now on the email marketing side, I feel like more opportunities have opened up as of late to utilize AI in our strategy. So that's the first thing that comes to mind for me.
Well, it's
Yeah.
also leveraging the AI to become more efficient. It doesn't
Yes.
replace the human strategy that you mentioned.
Yeah.
It's making their work even more effective.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna let Karen go first, but I have like follow-up questions already. Go ahead, Karen.
Yeah. So definitely, Megan, like on AI, like 100%. The other things that I have seen, I don't know if it's trending, but definitely clients paying more attention is to accessibility to email. So making sure things are designed for dark mode. I think maybe 10 years ago, everyone was like, it has to be mobile first, kind of like you have to design your emails to be mobile first. I see now kind of like, guys, dark mode. We can't forget about users that want to see emails in a different way. The other trend that I'm seeing, but I'm also pushing for clients, and it's more of a mindset. Every send, it's an opportunity to unsubscribe. You almost have to see it on a negative way, so that before you want to send that email, the first thing that they can do is unsubscribe. So make that message count. Don't send just a repeat of your last promo just because you're trying to get
Yeah.
short-term gains
Yeah.
on revenues. I think people are starting to kind of like pay more attention to that again because of all this trend of getting the value of your database. They know that there's a lot that they can get out of it, and if they lose someone, it's a lost opportunity to get future revenue. And the other thing with that in mind, with that mindset, is to make emails more fun. I'm always pushing clients, depending on how tight they can be with their brand, to be like, guys, can we just add a little bit of like movement somewhere? Like maybe something is moving, or there's like something that makes the email more exciting, and play with the copy so that people have like a little bit of an aha when they read a subject line. And again, it really depends on the brands that you're working with. If you're working with like an accounting firm, probably their brand maybe doesn't allow for too much of that. But if you can, to try to push for creativity, emails don't have to be boring and kind of like stale, and you can push a little bit the limits of what can make people be like, oh, this is cute, this is fun. I'm looking forward to receive the next email from this brand.
Yeah, especially because it's so competitive now.
Big time. Yeah.
We all have inboxes that are like overflowing with stuff. There's some brands that I haven't unsubscribed to, but I don't even care to open because I'm not interested at the time. So it's just immediately deleting it. So we don't want that.
100%.
So it's nice is that we're all on the consumer side too. So we sort of have an idea of where they're coming from when it comes to how we're engaging with our inbox. When you said mindset, I love that. I'm going to share that with my team. Like this, every send that you have is an opportunity to unsubscribe. That's going to stick with me for a while. One like mindset shift that I've been kind of thinking about lately is not being, how can this campaign be successful, but how can I engage with my customer in a meaningful way? Because I think we get really focused on like, even with the cross collaboration piece, we're like, all right, we're all running this campaign. There's a promotion coming up. How can we make this the best Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale that we've ever done? And then we focus on that, and all of our strategies are in line with that one campaign. If we like flip it the other way around, we say, I have a consumer that I want to engage with in a meaningful way, and this one campaign or promotion is a tool I can use to do that. It's going to change the way I build my segments or build out the email with certain like product features or something or copy that I think is going to engage them in a meaningful way and utilize whatever promo or something that I have running right now. Just kind of changes what the target goal for that is.
It's always putting the consumer hat back on and seeing like the bigger picture versus getting too zoomed in on, okay, well, we know this is going to be a big promo season for us. So let's just figure out what number, how to position that promo and discount.
Yeah.
You get too siloed almost.
It's the short-term thing. It's like, of course, yeah, that's going to be a good, that will create revenue immediately. But long-term, what did you do to build loyalty with that person? How did you communicate to them that you know who they are and what they're interested in and what they like to read? And you know how often they've opened or engaged with the brand and other channels in the past so that you're delivering really targeted messaging.
Exactly. Karen, I want to go back to what you just said and like have you say it again, because what you mentioned about like with every incremental email, it might lead to unsubscribe is literally part of our Orita story and pitch. But I'm curious, like, how do you phrase it in like a snippet when you're talking to the brand and that like you're communicating up to their leadership team, like, hey, email's not necessarily more is better. Like, how do you have that conversation?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. The winning argument, when we can win this argument faster with the leadership, is when you know how much money an email address brings. So if I know that my email address can bring, I don't know, the $100, whatever, I can say, hey guys, you have a 1% unsubscribe, so you just lost there right away, $10,000, because of not following the strategy of long-term vision, which is having a program, making sure that email counts, because every send is an opportunity to unsubscribe. So if you have that metric, the value of an email address, you win the argument like right away, because it's like cash. It's like I'm showing you a bill and it's like you lost it, and they're like, oh wow, okay. Same with the argument of what is your repeat rate. That's also another argument that can be very powerful to sell this idea, is that the longer I keep this email address within our database, I can make them buy 3 times, because that's our repeat rate. They can buy 3 times. That we have this science, but like to the detail. So they're like, oh, so if they unsubscribe, that means that yeah, they bought once, but I lost the opportunity of selling to them 2 more times. And if your average basket size is whatever, $100, you just lost their $200. So that's where the argument kind of like goes quick, and they can listen and pay attention. And yeah, and what I say, like every cent is an opportunity to unsubscribe. So make every cent count, so that they don't leave you.
Yeah, you're thinking almost more about like the customer lifetime value, what that AOV looks like, that repeat purchase for that specific brand, and then showing them this is where you're at today. Here are your unsubscribes. This is the weighted dollar value, and then here is the future on missed revenue opportunity that you're missing out on because email is that channel that more is not better. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, and that's like very clear to see for leadership again, because I think there's been maybe a little bit more education around paid media channels, kind of like I spend this to get that. Email
Yeah.
has been a little bit more gray or like harder to monetize. But
Yes.
if they when they can see the dollar amount attached to an email address, different conversation. Because they're thinking almost like cost per acquisition or cost of retention or lifetime value and so on.
Exactly. It's not the quick one-to-one dopamine hits that you're getting from pay to performance. It is a long journey of do the right thing, keep them in your database longer, and continue to get that loyalty from them long term. Megan, you mentioned this earlier too, like when you were talking about leaning into AI, and this is the direction of not, it goes beyond our industry, right? Everyone's talking about it these days. How do you get both your team and clients to buy into this when they're like, well, why do I need AI? Isn't this good enough?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know if I've answered that yet. I'm still working on that. I guess it's like I think anything you're unfamiliar with can be scary. So I think, like I mentioned at Go Fish, we're used to utilizing AI in a lot of our internal processes across verticals. So the more you use it, the more you're interested in finding out other ways that it can help simplify your processes or advance your strategy. So I guess it's more of like I'm just describing the hurdle that we're coming across. If someone hasn't been familiar with AI tools, they might be more hesitant to invest in them. I think it starts with building trust with your clients and with your team prior to introducing anything new. Because if you already have a good, trusting relationship and the work that you're doing is high quality and performing well, then the next thing you introduce to them should be in line with the strategy and the work that you already have reinforced over the relationship period that you've had. So I think if we can, stand behind the work that we're doing, we know it's really high quality, it's strategic, and we do a good job presenting the data and showing the results that we have, then when we introduce new tools like AI tools that are going to advance the strategy that we've already presented, then we have trust already built, and it's an easier way to make that, appeal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Karen.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to add something. I have the same challenges with clients sometimes, and one tactic that has worked. I mean, depends to your point with the relationship that you have with the team and the client and everything. Whenever there's like a different visions on something, we bring it to the A/B test
Yeah.
landscapes. Let's test the AI email and the non-AI. So this one will have product recommendations and advanced segmentation. This one will go the human way, the way we have been doing it. If this one works better, sure, we'll continue. But if we prove that the AI version is better, then you have proof. And we have done that so much. I even had a hard retail client that was sending too many emails, like too many. And I was with the argument like, guys, we're losing people. And in the long term, with the unsubscribes, especially after welcome promo, this is the classic retail scenario where you sign up to the list because you want to get the 10,
Yeah.
15%. You get your discount and then you unsubscribe. Of course, you're bombarded and you enter what we call into the jungle. Their argument was like, no, we're not losing people. Like they are engaged. And we're like, no, guys, you need to protect your new subscribers for a period of time before you introduce them to the jungle of receiving so many emails because it's
Yes.
your program. So we did an A/B test with journeys with what like the jungle, no jungle, and a control group to prove that down the line the gain on rescuing people from unsubscribe because they didn't enter the jungle for a period of time will justify protecting them and delay the revenue, because with retail brands sometimes is the short-term thinking that if I don't send everything today, that's missed opportunity. So anyway, the long answer is I have brought a lot of things into the A/B test whenever there's like a little bit of skepticism about how things are going to perform.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, going back to your unsubscribe points, Karen, I think now that I've been with Orita, the guilt is so real. When I look at the unsubscribe button, especially on Gmail as a consumer, I'm like, I don't want to do it to that brand. I can't. I just can't.
Yeah, there's an email marketer crying on the other side of the
Yeah,
screen.
there's someone. That's why you just delete it. If next time, maybe you'll want to see
I
it.
like can't look if I delete it. I'm like, I can't. It's too
There was
much.
a brand, when you hit the unsubscribe, I forgot who was it. There was like a picture of like a marker, like, well, this is what you're doing to my email marketer. It was like a fat
Yes,
guy
yes,
with a beard,
I've seen that before.
right? Yeah, this is what
That
you're
is
doing to
good.
our team.
Right in the feels,
Yeah,
guys. I think Megan's, what we see, because of course, like with Orita, we are AI. I think taking a step back and like thinking about, okay, well, beyond AI, this is another tech. And like, where does this fit in? Is there that need? And I think that like not knowing and like saying yes to something without knowing what it is and the purpose it serves, that's really where AI gets lost in conversation. It's like, okay, cool, everyone is using it, but what's in it for
Word.
me? Why do I need it? I think that is always the conversation for brands. And then also like what you mentioned too with like AI is not meant to replace humans. And so by using AI, if I choose to use Arita and help with my segmentation and it performs better, but it also saves time. Now, where can I allocate that time to do things AI can't do? AI
Yeah,
unfortunately can't do client calls, right? AI unfortunately can't take over any of those high level strategy thinking processes. So I think that is also the win back when you're considering any technology. Yeah. As we're looking at time, I'd love to. We didn't get to really dive deep into this, but we are hosting, Arita's hosting a Friday Cyber Monday deep dive. Before we get to that, I want to hear from you guys one or two key things that a brand needs to know now that it's July and we are marching towards this cloud of Black Friday. What needs to be done today to prepare for the holidays? No pressure.
yeah,
I think the question itself is the answer. You should be thinking about it now. I think too many brands wait till right before, or even strategists are waiting till the weeks leading up to start campaign planning for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It's too late. You should have worked on repairing any deliverability issues you had 3 months prior. So I think now is the time to start thinking about, like, am I set up for success for a big promo like Black Friday, Cyber Monday with the current kind of state of my email program or my client's email program right now? And so I think just starting with that, and I'll pass over to Karen. There's obviously more we could talk about, but just starting the conversation now is really important.
Is there
yeah,
one
100%.
metrics, Megan, that you would like zoom in on if I were a brand or a marketer? Is there like one or two things I would want to look at?
Yeah, I would be looking at the click rate and see how healthy that is.
Click rate.
Yeah.
Karen?
Yeah, to add to Megan, we're July, so to your point, like you guys have to start thinking about your strategy and everything. But if after you're listening to this live and you're like, okay, I feel pumped, I need to do something, put your head into a dormant series. So take a look at everyone that hasn't clicked in the last 90 to, I don't know, 6 months, depending on your brand, and do something about it. Try to bring like, when you try to like make summer to bring back to life, try a promo, maybe send a text only email, forget about images, change the sender, maybe an email coming from the president of the company to say, hey, I noticed that you haven't opened, whatever. I will like to have you. And even you can be like really direct and be, guys, we're preparing our greatest campaign of Black Friday for this year. You need to open emails so that you can receive our emails. If you are not active, you're not going to receive our emails because our segmentation is so advanced that we're only sending it, whatever. You can be playful with your narrative there, but I will take a look at that, a dormant series. And from now until then, you have, I don't know, maybe 90 days where you can gain people from being able to receive those campaigns.
Can you believe it's already only 90 days?
I know,
I
I
know.
know.
I feel like it just got warm. But Megan, from you, what I'm hearing is click rate. Take a look at it. Be aware of it. If you're not thinking about it, do something about it today because there's
Yeah.
90 days. And Karen, it is a dormant series looking at
Yes,
different content plays and different angles to rewarm that audience so
Yeah.
that it's not just, we haven't spoken to you, you've seen the same thing, and now it's 50% off everything and it's Black Friday.
exactly. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you both so much. I'd love to hear, Megan, where can our listeners or viewers find you, learn more about Go Fish and Agile?
Yeah. You can go to gofishdigital.com. We partner closely with Agile. It's our we're one of the Agile companies. So you can reach us through that site as well. So yeah, happy to. We offer free audits as well for prospective clients who need someone to take a look at their account. And maybe now would be a really good time to do it. Leading up, like I said, to, hey, what is kind of where am I at baseline as far as the health of my program? That might be a good time to reach out for an audit.
Yeah, exactly. And Karen, how about you?
Yes, so you guys can reach us at mandatecrm.com. Something else that we offer, actually preparing for Black Friday, is, and also to the holidays, if you lose your internal marketer, your email marketer, but you need to keep sending those emails on Black Friday, you don't have an agency, we can be plug and play in 24 hours. So if your team is going on vacation and you are the director and you're like, oh my gosh, who's going to present? We can present for you. So you can reach out to us, especially on the biggest season of the year. We offer that service.
Yeah, thank you both. And from what I know, email marketers aren't allowed to take a day off. So I have
No.
no such thing as no one hitting send. Even if I'm on a beach in Cancun, I have my phone to press send.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Orita helps brands maximize campaign revenue with AI customer segmentation. Our powerful, easy-to-use segments make email, direct mail, and SMS campaigns smarter and more profitable. Agencies use Orita to improve performance across their client portfolio, driving up click rates, inbox placement, and sales from existing lists. It's plug and play with Klaviyo, Postpilot, and Shopify, so you can deliver outsized results without extra lift from your team. Visit Orita.ai for a free email audit and turn your customers' list into revenue engines.